Welcome to Brand Lover, honest, real, and lively conversations for flourishing entrepreneurs and budding business owners on a mission to cultivate a heartfelt brand that connects with their purpose-driven mission. My hope is that you walk away feeling inspired and refreshed with a weekly takeaway in your back pocket that you can apply to your life or business. When you first got the idea to start your business, I bet you didn't expect marketing to feel so intrusive, did you? The reason I know this is because neither did I. When I re-entered the marketing world in 2017, I'd taken almost 3 years off to concentrate on my family. Rewind to 2007, when I initially launched my first business, the very first thing I did was call the Yellow Pages to submit a free advertisement. Nobody needed to see my face. I didn't even need to talk to clients on the phone if I didn't want to. And my photo was most certainly not visible on my about page. No way. So it came as quite a rude shock when I started with a clean slate after rebranding and relaunching after this 3-year hiatus. All of a sudden, social media marketing was the be all end all. Human to human marketing was integral to success. Everyone else was doing it. And if I didn't start showing up more authentically, there is no way that I would thrive, let alone survive. But as a shy, quiet, reserved personality type, not to mention someone who had just resurfaced from the life-changing experience of early motherhood, I was fragile to say the least. The last thing I wanted to do was to be vulnerable in front of strangers. Surely that's the last thing anyone wants to do. So whether it was a networking event or an Instagram video or a live on Facebook, I would inevitably leave with sweaty palms, nausea, and truthfully, I could not get out of there quick enough. There were some events where I dove into the car and just cried afterwards. I remember my husband picking me up from an event where I had to speak into a microphone, and I hustled my way to the car and I just lost it. I cried and I cried and I cried. Not because people were mean to me, quite the opposite, but it was just so much. It was so much to process. I have never liked being visible. I don't know if you can relate to this, but the idea of walking down the wedding aisle made me want to be sick. And that was in front of my loved ones, my family and my friends, and I still didn't want to feel visible. Being visible in my business felt like I was dancing on a stage in a bikini. And for some of you, that might sound like a blast. It might sound really fun. But for me, that's puke worthy. So when it all comes down to it, in truth, when I sort of peeled all of these layers off and went through some pretty awkward experiences, I realized that I was actually scared of what people would think of me. I was afraid of being judged. Sometime later, I realized this one thing is that people do not care what you have to say or how you say it unless it directly relates to them. People only care about themselves. Sure, they care about others. I know that you care about others. I'm not saying that everybody's selfish and mean, but think about it. And the way that when you do care for someone or do something generous or selfless, it always comes back to you and how it makes you feel. So, it always comes back to how that person, how it relates to them as an individual. So as soon as you take yourself out of the equation, out of any of these equations, whether it's being vulnerable by sharing an Instagram live, or even if it's as simple as putting a photo on your about page, it's so much easier to do that when you just remove yourself and make it all about your audience. So it's easier to show up. It's easier to sell. Sharing more of yourself feels lighter and not so risky. It doesn't feel so vulnerable and raw, because truly, at the end of the day, people don't pay attention to anything unless it means something to them. So the most practical way to do this and apply it directly to marketing your business is by intimately understanding your most ideal customer so that you know what they're going to resonate with. It sounds cliche and you've probably heard it 100 times, but perhaps not in this context. But as soon as I started focusing on my one perfect person, and I just completely removed all ideas or worries about being judged, my inhibitions started to fall away. And sure, I still have inhibitions. I am a natural introvert, but it became easier. And the more you do something, the easier it becomes, even if it still feels uncomfortable. But now I can record a podcast. Now I can jump onto a Facebook Live without much preparation. I can whip out my phone and go live on Instagram with a random thought that I have and not worry about what people are going to think of me. People are going to judge you no matter what. It's just human nature. What matters is that I am reaching the heart and soul of my perfect person, and that's what should matter to you as well. The only person that matters when you are doing these things is showing up for your perfect customer. So if you don't have any idea who your perfect customer is, I encourage you to get to know that perfect customer. So part of the process of Brand Alchemy, which is my signature brand foundation program, is really, truly intimately understanding that perfect customer so that all else falls away. So we're shining a spotlight on that perfect person that's right for your product or service. It's one small part of the process, but the end result is incredible confidence and clarity in your brand. So if you do have a fear of visibility, if you find marketing, particularly human to human marketing, uncomfortable and scary, by bolstering yourself with a strong brand foundation and a strong brand strategy, you are going to give yourself a little boost, a little head start, and it's going to feel much easier and lighter when it comes to marketing your business, whether that's at a networking event or, even just posting on social media can be very scary if you have a fear of visibility. So I would love to hear if you resonate with anything that I had to say. Or alternatively, if you're an extrovert and perhaps you've got some polarizing problems when it comes to showing up for your business, because it does go the other way as well. So let me know. Come and say hi on Instagram, and I'd love to sort of just find out your thoughts and if this was helpful to you in how you are showing up for your business. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this week's episode of Brand Lover, take a screenshot of wherever you're listening and share your biggest takeaway on Instagram or Facebook, and don't forget to tag me. I'd love to give you a shout out and thank you personally. Also, feel free to subscribe and leave a review to help the Brand Lover podcast reach more heart-aligned entrepreneurs just like yourself. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.